Sharky James here, retired photojournalist and host of the Petapixel Photography Podcast, and here's what you need to know about high-endurance microSD cards. Now, in my ultimate no-nonsense guide to SD cards, we talked about the various types of SD cards and all the letters and numbers on them. In this video, we'll talk about high-endurance microSD cards, and specifically the one that I use in my dash cams and Wise security cams, the SanDisk High Endurance microSDXC. Briefly, with standard SD cards, you're writing to them from your digital camera, let's say, here and there, maybe a few times a week as you take photos or shoot some video clips. Even more vigorous shooting to regular cards is perfectly fine. A handful of hours a month versus 720 hours each month with no break is a massive difference after all. Thus, high-endurance cards. They were designed specifically to be read to and written from constantly. With my Wise cams, for instance, the card fills and then starts all over again from the beginning and keeps on going. Now, this 128 gigabyte SanDisk High Endurance card is rated for an average of 10,000 hours of recording over time. The company's max endurance version of this card is rated for 60,000 hours, and it's more expensive, of course. In other words, it's going to be a good long time before you replace any of these cards, especially that max endurance one. As for the markings on this card, here's what you need to know. SanDisk, of course, is the brand, High Endurance is the class of the card, and this is the capacity, 128 gigabytes in this case. microSDXC means up to 2 terabytes you can get these in. That's all that really means. V30 is the video speed class marking, which signifies that this card can write up to 30 megabytes per second. Roman numeral 1 means it's a UHS Type 1 card, which is fine for this type of use. And the 10 in the C means it has a minimum write speed of 10 megabytes per second. And the U3 means this card can write up to 30 megabytes per second, just like V30. Bottom line, this card is not only better suited for use outdoors in your car's dash cam, where it's sitting in that really hot car, 100 plus degrees in the summer, and who knows how cold depending where you live in the winter. And of course, your security cameras are out there baking in the sun and freezing their little buns off all winter long. So you want these type of cards. They can also easily write 4K video all day, every day, so you don't have to worry about that. Now, could you get by with a regular microSD card? Sure, I have in the past, but for how long? Ideally, these types of cards would be in all of your dash cams and your outdoor security cams, which accept microSD cards for continuous recording. For your drones, standard microSD cards would be fine. And if you're shooting photos and video, you probably want a full-size SD card. You probably don't want to have a microSD in an adapter in your camera. Bad things happen when you do that.